Hello everyone, this is my subject today. How to deploy your Rails application on Windows and INCC. I'm now a Rails developer at Taipei and joined Ruby in Taiwan community, staff of RubyConf and also Rails Girls Coach. There's much people ever heard of Rails had Windows. Actually, development of Rails application is always a problem in Windows operation system. And I did tell you that true story. However, I could make it easier now. Once I have a chance to deploy an application on a server with Windows Server 2003 OS. Therefore, this server is over 10 years old. About this server, it's not only with Windows Server 2003 and has IIS 6 on that. So I decided to go Google the answer, and I found actually there's a service which called the Helicon Zoom. It's awesome. It thinks like we can deploy multiple language and frameworks on Microsoft IIS, such as Python, Ruby, Node.js, etc. Unfortunately, Helicon Zoom is only for new version Microsoft solution. And it means Helicon is not support me to deploy my Rails application in this 10 years old Windows server. So I tend to plan B. First step is to establish Rails production environment on this Windows server. We can install Rails installer. It's simple and friendly for Microsoft users. Even in Rails Girls Taipei, we used it to setting students' Windows-based notebook. And there's a basic Rails application. So we need to install bundler and dependent genes and do precompile for this Rails application. I need Rails application server to give responses, and we can use default Rails application server like WebBrick, or in this case, I choose to use Theme. To make IIS 6 being a reverse pricey server, first, the IIS server receives the request and passes it to the Rails server, Theme, and the Theme gives the response to IIS and the IIS feedback to user. We need something to turn IIS 6 to be a reverse pricey server. It's IRF 2.1. We can install it and run on IIS server. It's also easy to set up, just click next, next, and more next. And check out the IIS API status. If there are green checks, means we install IRF 2.1 successfully. And we can simply link the Rails application's public folder to IIS server, add an IRF ini config file. It supports Regis description. To define the outside request should get replaced inside response. This is example, just replace the localhost 3000 as inside responses domain. Let's review our steps. At first, we have Rails installer, then install bundler and dependent genes, then we install IRF 2.1, then put the public folder on IIS. Magically, only 5 steps, we set out a Rails application on Windows. Thanks, and if you want to download this slide, you can check these 2 links. And if once you need to deploy your Rails application on Windows Server, you can also see these slides too. I hope you not. Okay, thanks.